Hey folks, Joe Sasso here for Puree Made Easy, episode 2, talking about molds today. What type of molds that I use and how I use them. So here we have a plate with our molds. We have a chicken breast mold, which is industry standard type of mold that is typically used throughout the industry. We have a starch mold, which will be my universal mold for all starches. And we have a vegetable mold, which be a universal mold as well too. What I decided to do was I wasn't happy with the industry standard molds for vegetables. And actually there isn't one for any starch. You would have to pipe it out of a bag, which we originally did as well too. Is that this universal mold could be used for all types of vegetables. It has a nice height to it as well too. So all of the three components of your starch, your starch, your vegetable, and your protein will all look and resemble similar to a regular meal as you would get in a restaurant. These types of molds could be timbales, and a savory mold is typically used in desserts and savory as well too. So this is what it looks like, and we'll discuss it further. Okay, here are the molds that we use. This is a chicken breast. This is the only mold, the protein mold is the only mold that I use from the food service healthcare industry. The other two molds I use here are from the baking industry. This is a decorative mold used for pastries. And this is called an oval savory mold that is used in baking as well too, and sweet and savory. So what I've done here is, instead of doing the broccoli mold or the carrot mold, I decided to go with different molds so that it builds some height up on the plate and so that they all look pretty close to uniform as possible. So you have the chicken breast, you'd have the vegetable, and then you have your starch, your mashed potato. So mashed potato can go in here, sweet potato can go in here, any kind of starch. And this actually has like a little built-in well that you could actually put a little gravy in there as well too. So I love this. This is a universal mold for starch that I love to use. And this is a universal mold for vegetables. I have two other molds I don't have here at this moment, but I'll show you later, of these molds here. So any vegetable can go inside here. Carrots, broccoli, peas, butternut squash, any type of vegetable would go here. And this is the classic chicken breast mold. We could then swap this out, and they have a beef mold. And you can use a beef mold here, and you can put any kind of beef in here. You could put hamburgers, meatloaf, roast beef, any type of meat here with a nice sauce that goes on top of it. So these molds here are oven ready. They can go in the oven with no problem, easy to clean. These are silicone molds. And basically what you'll do is you'll spray the molds with a release spray here, and you put your puree food in there. Well, we're going to show you the whole process from start to finish, but I wanted to show you what the molds that I use. Now, these molds typically come in sheets, usually 5 or 6 to a sheet. And typically these molds are meant to put your puree food in there, put them in the freezer, take them out, and then unmold them. And then they can go onto plates and then go and get reheated. I found a person online, one of the videos from Simply Thick, he just had one mold. And this mold he used for the food service professional to have it on the line. So you would have your hot puree in the steam table ready to go. An order would come up for a puree meal. You would then take your puree product, put it in here, scoop it, and then flip it over. What I've done here is, as I cut these molds, I left a little lip here so that when we take the mold off the food, we'll push our finger here and lift the mold up so it releases. Same thing here with the vegetable. We do the same thing. We put our finger in here and we lift this up and we release. Now when we plate the purees, I put the protein down first on the plate. I will tip this down first. I will then release it Then I will put the vegetable on, release that, and then I would put the potato on, release that, then I would sauce it. Sauce goes on, then you're going to have a beautiful, well-presented plate. There's a fish mold that's available, and so fish, beef, chicken, right? So you have a variety of 3 different proteins that you can mix in on a daily basis, and then your vegetables and starch molds would be the same, and you can put any type of starch, any type of vegetables in here. So together, and once you'll see the plate come together, you see how it looks like a real meal. There are some other molds that are not oven ready, and these, by the way, can go into the microwave as well too. They have a chicken mold, corn mold as an example, and these are asparagus. So same concept with this. These actually, I've tested these out. They cannot go in the oven, but they can be microwaved. I do prefer these molds, the silicone molds, over these plastic. They're a plastic mold, but these are available too, and these two come in sheets as well too, and they would have to be cut up. My concept to do in the future moving forward, and I talked to a couple of mold companies, is to provide, especially for the home caregivers or the facilities that do not have a lot of pureed, is to sell kits that we have protein molds, assorted protein molds, and individual starch and vegetable mold, so that you could do this at home. You can keep this at home. You can put the food in, clean it, repeat, and so on, and you'll always have, and the meal would always look as nice as possible. Okay, folks, that does it for this episode of Molds. Thank you for joining me today. I'm Joe Sasso for Puree Made Easy, and I'll see you next time.